Hey everybody, it's Amanda from Full Gallop Communications. It's been a minute since I have done any videos and I had time today. So buckle up, we're going to talk about brand books and why you need one and what they're used for. So I've been doing a whole bunch of these lately for a couple of really interesting clients, and a brand book essentially gives you the opportunity to really dig into all of the components, the visual components, the photography components, the typography, your logo and how it's used, when it's used, what's your tagline, and how that fits together in a complete piece and gives you a reference book. So typically you work with a designer and they pull together pieces so they match your corporate colors, and they give you the recipes for using them on web, using them for print, CMYK, or using them online. So it's really valuable to make sure that if you have very specific colors to match, think Kodak yellow, which would be really tricky to match without a very accurate recipe. And you may have a brand that has a color that's really specific to them, and you want to be super careful about how that appears in every channel that you have. So social media, it's super accurate over here, maybe LinkedIn over there, also social media. But if you do a print campaign, or maybe you're doing a sponsorship and you're handing off a lot of components to people to print someplace, you're gonna be able to see that it's really consistent across the board when you put everything side by side. And that's really the key test, is when you put things side by side, does it look like it came from the same company, from the same people? Or are there weird discrepancies, or does your blue look purple over there? So you want to be really careful about it, and having those in a book is incredibly helpful. You can also hand this off to somebody internal to say, okay, we need all of our labels, our tape, our packaging, all of this. Here's the logo, here's the tagline, here are the colors you need to match. Or if you're getting some swag bags together and you're having shirts done and you're having embroidery done, again, super helpful. You can send that to your vendor and say, I need you to match your thread to this color. So it becomes the baseline of everything that you do visually. One of the other really interesting things that you can do is look at your photography treatments. So if you have a product and you need it to be shot in a certain way, maybe it's very small, maybe it's something you can hold in your hand. I do a lot of optics, so there's a lot of pieces of glass. Glass is typically clear unless it has a coating on it, so lighting it in a way that you can see the coating reflected in a very accurate way is important. Or maybe you need to boost some of the color, or maybe you need to have a lot of contrast. If you're working in healthcare, you want some really emotional kind of photography, right? You want to have that caring aspect come through, and that feel good, warm, I'm taken care of kind of feel. So you want to use your photography and your video to make that work. So there's a lot of things in play there where you have to sit down and think about it. The other thing that you should think about is your brand voice. So in a written format, are you a very laid back group? Maybe you're an entrepreneur, you make a small product, maybe you have a candle line. It gives you a lot more leeway to make it more personal and have a little fun with it, versus a corporate voice, which is usually much more formal, much more professional. Depends, it may not, depends on what you do. But it's a conversation that you need to have within your group and find out what it is that's going to fit and really represent you as a whole. So there's your brand book explanation for today. If you have any questions, reach out. I'd be happy to help you. Otherwise, have a great day. Take care.